We certainly do. Not that I even know what you're looking at with James, but I think he was just climbing a tree, and we have hit the jackpot and found Thandi and her tiny little cub. Now, the cub has just approached Mom. She was probably 3 or 4 meters away when we arrived, and let's see what happens next. It turns out Seb's suggestion to come and check this old spot where he once saw her paid dividends. Now, we're going to keep quiet just before we invite some other people into this wonderful scene with us. Ooh, maybe now's not a good time. So, everyone, welcome to the Sabi Sands. We are coming to you live from a temporary leopard den site. So you would have just seen a few spots there. That is the mother, and there's a tiny, just 2-month-old cub that is with her. They've just ducked down into an area where it's going to be difficult for us to see them, but with a little bit of patience, and if we manage to reposition the vehicle once or twice, we should be able to get some more views. Now, I'm not too sure where to go just yet. You can see Mom over there. And there's a tiny little cub. If we stay here, we might get another view of it. It seems to just climb over Mom there. Seems like it's in a bit of a playful mood. There we go. And we are very, very fortunate in the fact that this specific leopard has become quite relaxed with our presence, and that is why she is tolerating us to be so close to this relatively young cub. But we do want to respect the fact that she is allowing us here and not kind of push the boundaries too much. If we do get to a point where she's feeling kind of threatened, she may growl and snarl at us, and we don't want her to do that. Mika, wonderful to have you with us, and very happy to hear you are saying that this is an awesome, awesome scene. It certainly is. Now, just to give you guys a bit of background, we left this leopard and her cub last night, kind of in this general area. I'm fairly certain her mom would have headed off in search of some food. Maybe she had an unsuccessful night hunting. And Danielle, you'd like to know if this cub is eating meat yet. Well, not that any of us have seen, but it definitely is getting to that age where she will start getting exposed to meat. Usually, as a general rule, it's from about 3 months of age that leopard cubs will start feeding on meat. It's not to say that they'll be completely weaned off milk. They'll continue to drink milk up to around 6 months of age as a kind of a rough rule before being weaned off. Now, I've been looking around. I can't seem to think of a better route to get us any better views for the time being. Chelsea, you'd like to know if this cub ever sleeps, and yes, it will spend a lot of time sleeping like most cats do, and especially young cats. That cub will be spending a lot of time sleeping, especially when Mom is out hunting. But ordinarily, when Mom's around, the cub is usually quite playful and insistent on getting milk. So, like I said, we've got no idea how much time they spent apart last night. It could have been as much as 12 hours that Mom was out hunting, and she may have just returned early this morning. It's not to say that she didn't have a successful night hunting. She maybe had a kill and has stashed it somewhere after feeding on it. But we have been noticing some very interesting behavior with this leopard, in that she's been, on 2 occasions, she's brought kills back to a den site, which is kind of unheard of with leopards. They ordinarily wouldn't do that because it obviously creates a lot of attention to where the cub is hiding out, and it could lure in hyena, lion, and maybe even other leopard. And what seems to have been happening over the last few weeks is that she's been moving the cub quite close to the kills. That way she can kind of keep an eye on it and not have to make large missions backwards and forwards. Now, let me try and reposition ever so slightly because we're not getting any views from here. Hello, Janessa. You'd like to know if this cub has got a name just yet. And no, we haven't given it a name, not that I know of. So it's something that we ordinarily don't do until the cub's survived for at least a few months, because so often they do actually get killed. There's a huge amount of threats to young cubs, not only of leopards, but most young animals, I guess. Ooh. This is going to be very tricky, but let's just go all the way around and we might be able to snipe a view from a bit of a distance. So no, we haven't named the cub yet, but ordinarily what we will do as Safari Live is name a cub before the guides in the area give it its official name. Cubs will usually get their official name as they become independents. So once their mother starts courting another male, basically. And this cub has still got at least a year before it gets to that stage of the game. But we'll give it our own kind of temporary name in the meantime. I think we might get lucky here. We've got a bit of a gap here. It might work. Let's see what happens. Just over that termite mound there, Seb. I think you should get a view of at least Mom's face. There we go. That's not too bad. And now we can see some slightly better views of this tiny little cub. It is adorable. And I'm astounded by how much it's grown in the 2 weeks that I've been out of this area. And let's just hope that it does manage to avoid all possible threats. And we will certainly be spending a huge amount of time following the life and growth of this individual. Now, I keep calling it a she. That's probably mainly because a few of the other guides here, the kind of majority vote at the moment is that they believe that this youngster is a female. But it is not 100% confirmed yet. It just seems to be the kind of majority vote, like I say. And if it is in fact a female, that will bode incredibly well for the future here at Djuma, because females, unlike males, will tend to squeeze in next to their mother's territory, and that way hopefully we'll be able to follow her life closely from even once she becomes an adult. Looks like Mom might be getting a little bit agitated by her. And what's interesting is that when Mom gets agitated by her, she growls at us sometimes, which I guess, you know, a lot of you that are mothers out there can possibly relate to the fact that your kid may be the apple of your eye and you may take out your frustrations caused by them with other people. And I guess that's what's happening here with Thandi. Very good. Now, we were very, very happy to welcome all of you guys who just joined us for the special scene. But we are going to say goodbye to you for now. If you would like to continue following this morning's safari, please do so on YouTube. Just type in Safari Live. That's probably your easiest bet. If not, just stay tuned for any further Facebook notifications. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time. Yes, we certainly are. We've managed to reposition. We've managed to sneak down into the riverbed and snipe a few little shots of this, what seems to be an incredibly playful cub this morning, exploring the little area where its mom has decided to relax for the time being. And isn't this absolutely wonderful? It sounds like you had an interesting sighting there with James and the ants. And here a very, very different scene, other than the hustle and bustle of this young little cub. Mom is certainly not as active as those ants sounded to be. Now, she's draped herself very perfectly over this log. We were saying it's a pity her head isn't where her tail is now, otherwise we would have some incredible views. We actually parked at a slightly lower angle. I guess Seb's probably exactly eye level with the leopard at the moment, and it makes such a difference when viewing animals from a low angle like this. We can get some really magical views as opposed to shooting them, which is kind of the normal scenario. Looks like a cub's on its way back down the termite mound now. Let's see, is it in stalk mode? It looks like it could be in stalk mode. Now watch closely, because you'll be very impressed, or at least I've been very impressed at the cub's natural instinct to want to stalk and pounce. And even though we can't see too well now, it does look like it was temporarily stalking Mom there, honing her skills. Is she about to pounce? Looks like she could be. Wonderful stuff. Well, Mrs. Grumpy, you, like I'm sure a lot of others, love it when this little cub pounces on its mom. I love it when it plays with Mom's tail. And it is just too good to be true. What would be really interesting to know is how much time is spent with this cub playing around and on the move as opposed to sleeping. We were discussing how long it sleeps for a little bit earlier, and I'm not too sure exactly, but it is going to be probably similar to its mom. 16 to 20 hours a day it will spend sleeping. And these little windows of magic where we are lucky enough to find them in the first place and have them playing around, or at least have this little cub playing around like this, is absolutely golden. And ordinarily in and around leopard dens and areas where a clever leopardess would like to hang out, it can be quite thick, which is perfect because if we're out in an open area, it would make viewing this little cub a little bit easier, but it would definitely increase the danger of this cub not being able to escape if any enemies come onto the scene. And I was discussing last night, we definitely are going to have some hair-raising moments with this cub in the coming months, especially once the cub starts being led back to the carcasses, where it will be nibbling on them within the next few weeks. Very good. Well, we are going to stay put and be sure to call you back as soon as the cub pops out and send you across to Steve, who is investigating some of the smaller things out here. Yes, those little sticky burrs are not much fun, but thankfully James and most of us have got the very fancy gaiters which keep our socks burr-free. Now, things have calmed down here for the time being. Thandi's repositioned ever so slightly. She's moved a little bit further away from where we were seeing her a bit earlier, draped over a log, and the cub disappeared up towards a kind of large termite mound. I'm not sure if there's any cavities within that termite mound that the cub is kind of hiding out in, or if it's just playing around on some roots. But I'm confident if we sit here a little bit longer, the cub will come out again. Now, the rain that James was speaking of a little bit earlier has just reached us. Hopefully it will just be a slight pitter-patter and isn't going to cause us to cover up, but that could well happen, so I'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as we will need to cover up. But for now, we are kind of okay. It's just a very slight drizzle, which shouldn't cause any issues for our array of technical equipment in here. I've been trying to snap some pictures of this incredible scene. Not easy business, though. And that's the noise you can hear now, me just rustling my camera cover closed. Now, what would be nice is if Thandi took us out hunting. We actually saw a duiker not too far from where she's lying now. Not in the direction she just looked. She just looked up in the direction of where the cub is, so maybe that's what she heard, and that's what got her attention. Hopefully the cub's going to come trundling back into the scene soon. But there was a duiker, like I said, about 40 meters. Oh, here comes the cub. Very good. We're going to get some great views of it as it comes back to Mom to say hello. Oh, is she going to try? Oh, you see that? So as soon as the cub went to try and nurse there, Thandi got up and moved. So the cub has obviously had enough breakfast for this morning, and Thandi is no longer allowing it to suckle any further. And will she, in fact, now to decide to head off in search of a meal? It doesn't look like she has fed since yesterday, so it doesn't look like she had a successful evening hunting. And maybe the fact that the cub is sufficiently nursed and the fact that she will be getting hungry may just mean she is going to take us hunting shortly. Nice cool conditions. It's incredible how quickly the cub realized that Mom didn't want her to have any food. I guess it was quite obvious because she stood up, but the cub wasn't very persistent. And I'm told a lot of you are astounded at how quickly this cub is growing, and I'm a part of that team of people because in just 2 weeks of being away, I've noticed a very distinct difference, not only in size, but also in this animal's agility and mobility. It's definitely far more sure-footed. And what I'm really happy with is the fact that it's also paying very little attention to us, which means it's already become used to us. And that is going to mean, hopefully, a very, very relaxed leopard once it grows up. It's also nice that Mom's kind of calmed down a bit for the initial few months of this little cub's life. Mom was a little bit less welcoming of us. Understandably, her maternal instinct was on overdrive. Oh, that cub just tried its luck again. And it doesn't look like the cub's going to have any joy suckling just yet, and possibly the next time you join us, we will be on the move following Mom hunting. In the meantime, you'll be going across to Brent Leo Smith, who is quite happy, quite cheerful, due to the fact that his better half, Jamil, has got herself stuck in the mud. Yes, Thandi does not have a surname, and sadly the rain is also falling quite hard here. So Seb's just made a makeshift kind of cover over the camera, and I fear we are going to have to say goodbye to you so we can also cover up a little bit better. We won't be able to do it so close to Thandi and this cub. But I'm kind of torn. It's such a magical moment. And it seems to be stopping. So give us a second. Kind of don't want to prematurely send you off unnecessarily. And it does seem like the rain is kind of manageable for now, so don't go anywhere just yet. Now, clearly, Thandi has given in to the cub's relentless pursuit for milk. And look at how the cub's ears been kind of inverted by Mom licking it. And maybe what this means is Thandi is going to allow it to have one last suckle and then head off hunting again. Now, First Lady, you're wondering, when do female leopards stop giving birth? Well, just like humans, there's no set rule, but anywhere from about 14 or 15 years of age, a leopardess will be considered quite old, and it would be kind of surprising, I guess, to have births upwards of that age. I'm actually not sure of the oldest documented leopard birth. It could easily be around 16 or 17 years of age. There have been some leopardess that have even survived into the 20s, I'm told. Very rarely. But just like us as humans, a lot of their organs will not work as effectively once they start getting to that age. How cool is that ear that's been flipped the wrong way around by Mom cleaning it? It looks like she's possibly trying to nibble some ticks out of there. It'll be a tick's favorite spot, the soft, thin skin on the ear. And you would have noticed how she was kind of chewing there. They'll do a lot of chewing of ticks to get them out. Oof, what do we do about this rain? It's kind of picking up a little bit again. Michael, you're interested to know if there's any kind of different tactics that a leopardess will have to employ depending on the amount of cubs that she has. And not hugely. Not that I've really noticed. I mean, it's definitely going to be a lot harder for her because she's got to not only look after and clean and care for the cubs, but she also has to feed them. So initially, it'll be a lot of milk that she needs to give off to the cubs and share it between them. And thereafter, from about 3 months of age, they're going to all be starting to snack on meat. So I think it's just going to kind of complicate her life, but it's not going to really alter the way she goes about doing her business. Certainly not that I've noticed. Okay, wonderful stuff. Well, we're going to stay put. Who knows how much longer this little cub is going to nurse for. It seems like it's fallen asleep, then actually stopped nursing. It's drunk itself into a little bit of a coma. And we'll be sending you back up to the cocky Brent in the Mara. Well, I certainly do hope nothing more than for Brent to get stuck sooner rather than later. It is just a matter of time. But like James said, he did invent the four-wheel drive concept, so he is quite well trained when it comes to driving one. Now, as you can see, Thandi is up and looking about. It seems like she gave the cub the command to stay put, and now she is planning where to go and have her breakfast, or at least try and find some breakfast. Now, there wasn't a duiker too far from where she is now, in the kind of same direction that she's looking in. So she could get lucky with a meal very, very close by. As you can see, though, she's just kind of stopping, assessing, listening, trying to work out what her best bet will be. Hello, Wild Bill. I'm just going to reverse quickly. Sorry, Seb. We've popped the rover down onto the road in front of us, and she may well walk towards it and get some great low-angle shots. I don't want to drive it. I just left it close to the vehicle. You can just see it on the road there. I've disguised it with a few bushes. Not very well. Oh, no. I forgot to turn it on again. Oh, gosh. Anyway, if she walks past it, which it looks like she's going to do, oh, no. This is soul-destroying. The GoPro in the front. Oh, no. This is soul-destroying, guys. She's going to walk straight past it. Well, not quite, actually. So she wasn't close enough. With the little camera that is on it, she has to be very, very close to it. It's a very wide angle, so that shot wouldn't have been very impressive. And hopefully, now that I've made the same mistake twice, I will not make it again. There's quite a few buttons that need to be turned on in a specific order, and I always tend to forget to turn on the most important one, which is of the camera. Now, you'll probably hear there's some birds that are making a real racket next to her. It's a fork-tailed drongo that's letting off an alarm. Voila, actually, it looks like it could be a starling. I've tucked my binoculars away due to the rain. Let me get them out again. Oh, now she's walking back again. What is she going to do with this little machine? I'm hoping the fact that it's kind of camouflaged a little bit will mean she's not going to be too concerned. Oh, no. Now I'm kicking myself. That would have been great. Wonderful that she's not too fussed by it. And once some of the animals that we know well get used to the rover, it is going to allow us to get some incredible views of them without actually interfering with what they're getting up to. We're going to be able to get you right in close to kills and carcasses, exciting scenes, and most importantly, that very low angle is going to be achieved. Oh, good golly. I'm told there's a few of you that are enjoying Ronald's camouflage. It's a work in progress. It will be nice to get it completely camouflaged on a more kind of sustainable, with a more sustainable system, because these leaves will obviously die and they're quite intricately positioned in place. But I'll be sure to turn it on now, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good views of her as she continues to go about her business. Let me turn it on now before I forget. Now, we're going to send you across to James, who's going to reiterate what a fool I am for not turning on the GoPro.
So we've managed to come around. Just see a visual of Thandi there. Going to reposition now, and hopefully she's going to come out for us. She is with her cub, and she has lost her meal to we believe, the father of her cub, I think. What a tragedy for her. But we just had visual of the cub for a moment. Maybe we just park ourselves in a position here where we can see her coming out. Here she comes. Beautiful mama. Give her lots of space. So Scott asked us to come into the area to help because of the two leopards. Obviously one would push the other one away. There it is. There's the little cub just behind her. You hear the squirrel's alarm calling in the background. He's going to come into the open now. Here she comes, folks. There he is. Oh, so beautiful. Giving her lots of space. This is wonderful stuff. And the cub is very playful. Here she comes. Isn't that just a bundle of cuteness? So she is gone hungry, and I don't think she would hunt with her cub in tow. Oohs and ahs, indeed, folks, indeed. She's heading directly back towards where she was denning with the cub a few days ago, and it's possibly likely because Tingana was so close to where she made that kill just now of that deka, that she'd rather just get the cub and move somewhere else for safety's sake. How amazing is that? Sharp, sharp, eh? One of the vehicles from the Chikana camp in the north. We were in this area trying to help Scott out, and we couldn't find him, but he... what's she doing? She's looking at something. So we've just did a bit of a loop, and we managed to find her in the road. Just come around here. There they are. Yes, viewers, I believe you've all been discussing that she dropped her kill. You know, it's best to leave and to save another day, stand for another fight. You can't afford to, a female leopard can't afford to tackle a male leopard. It's just not worth the effort. I've seen male leopards kill females before in the past when she was defending her cubs, and a male leopard pulled her out the tree, and no, it was very sad. But she did what she could for her babies. They're going to go in front, and we're going to do what we call the leapfrogging technique. We don't want to chase her, though, so we must be very careful. But we'll try and stay with her for a little while and see. Maybe she's going to den her cub somewhere new, and obviously then we'll know, so we can come back in the afternoon. And with this nice, cool temperature, it's awesome for us to be able to see leopards moving at this time of day. And while we continue following this bundle of cuteness, we're going to go back up to the Masai Mara, where I believe it's been quite wet. Yes, indeed. From Tingana, the big male, to Thandi, the leopardess, with a beautiful little bundle of joy. We are trying to keep up with them. You see they're disappearing into the thickets here. but we're hoping we can see where she deposits the little cub. Quite easy to follow them here, because not with the vehicle, I mean, but with the sounds of the animals. You can hear the birds and the squirrels. Lisa asks, will she try and hunt again? I mean, I think now that she's got her cub walking with her, she'd rather try and go and deposit the cub somewhere safe. I'm not sure what happened this morning, how she had the cub walking with her, but they will not hunt, I don't think, with, just see her through the gap there. Don't think they will hunt with the cub in tow, but she might try and deposit her again and then maybe go out. The temperatures are beautiful. They're really, really nice temperatures for moving about. We'll just see if we can find her again here. But yeah, if the weather stays like this, most certainly she'll try hunt again. Sorry about that. Trying to find a leopard in here is quite... There, she's coming over there, Davy. Just crossing the drainage line there. She's coming straight towards us now. This is fantastic. Let me see. You're good there. Sorry, Davy, you're good there. I mean, obviously, if something presents itself... Yes, folks, a fantastic drive. Obviously, if an animal presents itself, she will kill it now. But I think her primary objective is to try to get the cub back to a safe spot. The clouds are starting to clear and it is warming up a bit now, so it might be... Here we go. Coming right down in front of us here. This is awesome. Perfect positioning. Might be coming to the end of their morning with regards to temperature increasing. But leopards are such opportunistic hunters. They will hunt anything and everything whenever they can. I once had a male leopard kill a zebra in the morning, and when we found him that afternoon, he had the baby zebra and 2 bush warthogs up the tree with him. So he wasn't hungry, he just hunted out of the fact that he was hungry. Or just instinct. Okay, so it looks like they might be denning down in this big termite mound now. We might go around a little bit, see if we can relocate on them. I don't want to push her though. The birds are telling us that they're here. Franklins are very upset. There we go. You can see they're flying off the top. And so from us here in Djuma, Sabi Sands, and from those up in the Masai Mara, we'd like to say thank you very much for joining us on a wonderful game drive this morning. From elephants to warthogs to leopards and leopard kills. Absolutely fantastic for myself, Dave and Steve and all the other present. Thank you so much for your questions, and we'll see you again this afternoon at 4 o'clock sharp. Have a wonderful day.